Stop scrolling for a second. Are you feeling super anxious, super disconnected, not really feeling safe and secure in your body, in the way that the world is? I feel it too. And when I think about it, I really think about this as a collective problem. And energetically, I think it's connected to one major thing. I feel like we have a root chakra problem. If you're picking up what I'm putting down, then I think you'd like to take a tour through my mind. So recently I've been reading this book called Anatomy of the Spirit, and she's kind of walking you through every chakra and what its kind of purpose is and how to balance it and everything. When I was reading the chapter on the root chakra, the first chakra, I couldn't help but see the parallels of the imbalance on an individual level and how it reflects at a collective level, national level, global level, and so on and so forth. So that's what pretty much inspired today's video. So first, if you don't know what a chakra is, the way that this book explains it, I'm going to read it directly from the book. Each of the energy centers contains a universal spiritual life lesson that we must learn as we evolve into higher consciousness. And basically, chakras are energy centers where each of these lessons are learned. The first chakra is your root chakra, and it's lessons related to the material world. And so when I'm reading this, it made me think of how we struggle as a collective to kind of have a balance with our root chakra. And if we're struggling to have a balance with the first chakra, the root, the beginning, the foundation, the base, how can we have a balance with everything else? And that's really kind of what I'm grappling with and thinking about and feeling as I navigate feelings of all the headlines that we're reading, all the things that we see, all the legislation that's getting passed. Like, there's so many things that when I think about it energetically, it makes me feel like, wow, we have a lot of healing to do, and it really, really starts at the base. So in the book, she kind of talks about like the different ways that the root chakra manifests itself, talking about things like loyalty, talking about things like tribe mentality, even the way that we believe and connect and communicate with source, all of these different layers. And then when I see how that shows up for people on a day-to-day basis, it's like we have some semblance of a root chakra that's like activated, but at the end of the day, it's kind of like a disconnection. And then that disconnection shows up both at an individual and a collective level. So specifically, when I think about religion and source and God, sugar, universe, whatever words you want to use, the root chakra is where you like develop that foundation of understanding that we are a collective being. We all come from the same source. We all come from light. Whatever words you use to kind of understand that for yourself is what are words that you use, and religion is a tool to help you connect that. But when I think of the imbalance of the root chakra showing up in all of these places, I feel it and see it as religious extremism, where people are very tied to the identity of a religion, the identity of the type of religion that they're following, the identity of the values that religion has, even if it's contradictory to the messaging of the religion, right? Like, even if there's like a pick and choose of what you're going to be believing from the religion, I feel like that is a manifestation of the root chakra being a little bit imbalanced. Because if you were able to have a place where you can connect with people on a shared common belief, that shared common belief should be or could be an opportunity to remind you of this collective power, this collective unity that we have, because we're all from source, right? And that's what the root chakra can tell us. But the root chakra being imbalanced can create that kind of identity and then have you become that identity without even doing any of the work to kind of figure out what the truth is for you. When I'm thinking about my time of moving from religion to spirituality and kind of still in the very much stages of understanding myself, I had to remove myself from this thing that I grew up with to understand what I believe. And if we don't allow ourselves that internal reflection that working on your root chakra gives you, then we're never able to figure out who we are, which in figuring out who we are, we're able to kind of get all this information about ourselves and then pour it out to the collective for positive or good or whatever like you want to use it for. And another way that I see that kind of validation showing up is with things like sports culture. Like, I love watching a good game if there's a tailgate. I really don't care about sports like that. But I can see how being involved in sports, watching sports, participating in it, supporting it, purchasing things, feeding into that economy gives you a sense of identity, a sense of connection, a sense of belonging. And that's what the root chakra kind of helps you find, right? Like that tribe mentality, that connection, that reminder that you're not alone, because you're not, because we all come from one source. And we can see the extreme ways that then that shows up, where people are violent when it comes to sports, or get very angry, or get very divided because of sports. It should just be a tool for connection. It's not that deep, but it is that deep. And I often think about that a lot when I'm watching people enjoy their sports and all other like activities that connect us but separate us. It speaks to that desire to be connected in a way that we aren't necessarily taught to connect, because we're taught to connect from outsourcing. So when I think about what it takes to heal the root chakra or balance it, really, it's kind of figuring out how to find that balance with those things so that you can still, go to church, go to your sports game, go to your hobby class, whatever it is, but you still understand who you are as a person and how who you are helps the collective. Another one example that makes me think about the way that I can see the imbalance in our day-to-day is with cancel culture. Like, we are almost hyper fixated on like bringing someone down at the strike of any mistake, miscommunication, or even if they've done like something really wrong. And it's because we're trying to kind of have some normalcy of like, this is what we as a collective think. And if you're not thinking that way, you're doing harm. It becomes some kind of way where it's like almost hyper fixated and not making room for nuance, not making room for error, not making room for being a human, essentially. And it's, again, speaks to this nature of like, we are one and we think this way, and we think this way because it makes it safe for everyone. And that's kind of the root at some cancel culture things coming out. But sometimes it just almost feels like anger, right? And anger that could possibly, or maybe, or unintentionally or subconsciously be connected to the wrong thing. Not even necessarily the wrong thing, it's just like misdirected anger for some things. Like, some things require people to be called out and have accountability. It just creates a culture or a space, even in the online space. It creates like this fear to be anything because there's a policing of everything. And the policing of everything isn't really all helpful for the collective. At times it is, at times it's not. It's kind of like a mishmash. And again, I feel like it's because we've lost our sense of connection with ourselves and what is true to ourselves when we heal or work on our root chakra. And it's a big missed opportunity, I feel, essentially. When I'm thinking about healing the root chakra or balancing the root chakra, a quote from the book that kind of started this whole video: our spiritual power grows when we're able to see beyond the contradictions inherent in tribal teachings and pursue a deeper level of truth. Each time we make a shift towards symbolic awareness, we positively influence our energy and biological systems. We also contribute positive energy to the collective body of life, the global tribe. Think of this process as spiritual maturation or as spiritual homeopathy. And I love the term homeopathy because if you know about science, biology, like homeostasis is where everything is everything that your body tries to do is to get us back into homeostasis. So when we think of trying to do that energetically, spiritually, it starts at the bottom. I just thought of that. It's hot at the bottom, that TikTok video, but it starts at the bottom. And if the bottom, the first, and if we're able to do that, if we're able to see beyond the the contradictions that are present in the things that we believe, in the things that we've been taught to believe, we begin to unravel truths about ourselves that help us be more grounded in ourselves, and then also help us show up more authentically and grounded for the collective as a whole. This is why healing or balancing your root chakra is so important, because it starts you figuring out who you are for you. I've worked in the space of helping people start to chip at this with food, but any kind of way that it looks like for you is what it looks like. Starting at the base obviously makes the most sense, because then you just go straight up. And I can't really say what is the best way to heal a root chakra. Like that's not like the goal of this video necessarily, but it is to spark some awareness and to share some things that are helpful. I think if I could like summarize 3 things that I would want you to take away with today's video, it would be to focus on grounding, to focus on connecting with nature, and to focus on yourself. Like if we're able to ground in our day-to-day, whether that's a meditative practice or physically grounding outside or prayer or journaling, like something to help you be present with yourself in whatever way that looks like, to help you quiet the mind, get present with your thoughts, question your thoughts, question your beliefs, question the things that you grew up here, like whatever that looks like for you, that's definitely one thing that I would 100% recommend. And then when I think about taking care of yourself, yeah, what does it look like when you're taking care of yourself at a foundational level? Like, what does your movement look like? What does your meals look like? How's your mental health? Do you have a therapist? All of these little things helps you figure out what you feel like at your most homeostasis, at your most centered self, to then help you see where else you need to go and how else you need to show up, or how else you need to nurture yourself. All these tiny little, pieces of taking care of yourself. And then when I think of connecting with nature, I think that's just one of the best ways to kind of see how we are all source, how we're all collective energy, how we're all one being through everything, right? Through the trees, through the bugs, through the people walking in the park, through your neighbors, through the dogs, like everything that we can connect ourselves with outside of yourself reminds you like, oh, we're in this together, right? Like we're in this together and we're supposed to XYZ. We're supposed to have fun. We're supposed to live in love. We're supposed to share our gifts. We're supposed, like whatever it is. But we find the answers and uncover some truths about those things as we get more and more comfortable going within. And so when I think about how we haven't gone within in this country, especially, I'm in the United States, so our foundation, our root, is founded on ignoring our truths, ignoring the harm that we did, displacing it, trying to hide it. Like that doesn't create fertile ground for truth and healing to kind of grow. It just delays it. And I feel like we're seeing now in current events, like the true harm of delaying tending to that root, the true ramifications of what we've done or what has happened because we haven't listened all this time. And we're getting to a point now where it's become so violent. It's always been violent from its nature, like from the source, it's always been violent. And now we're at a place where we need to face those truths, even if they're uncomfortable. And we have to face our own truths, even if they're uncomfortable. Granted, you should probably do that with a medical health professional to help guide you, but whatever tools, again, are helpful for you, like finding that is, religion could be a thing like that, but again, it should also require you to go within and uncover truths about yourself. But when I think again of the individual and the collective, our base is not in a place where it could be to have more balance, to then flow everything up to the other chakras. I feel like we're in a time and a place where it's pivotal right now. We could make a difference now or we could not. There's like so much more I want to say about the root chakra, how all the chakras kind of show up, but specifically this. So I probably will make another video. Don't know when, but I probably will gather some more of my thoughts to kind of get pen to paper and share them with you. While I start figuring out what part 2 is going to look like, I'll leave you with this last nugget. I don't have the answers to fix this, right? I'm still very much in it myself, but I want to remind you the power that you have when it comes to taking care of yourself and how that can trickle down or trickle up or trickle out. Just cast a light to help other people. And part of healing this problem is naming the problem. And so I've done my little bit of part to help name it. I hope naming it gave you something to kind of reflect on, think about, bring stuff up for you. I am curious to hear like what stuff came up for you that you want to dig into a little bit more deeper. I'm curious to hear about things that maybe didn't resonate and we should talk about it a little bit more. It's gonna take all of us collectively to heal this big problem. And if we're able to face our truths together, like it makes space for all of us healing together and getting a better foundation. But if you're still here watching this video with me, thank you for spending all this time with me. You might want to subscribe because clearly you like what I'm putting down and I love that about you. And I would love to see you the next time that I share something from my mind. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Share this video with someone that you think would also like this discussion. See you next time. Love you.